Hello, happy Final Fantasy release day. It's finally here, and I'm actually pretty excited about it. I'm a big Final Fantasy fan, played the games growing up, of course, so I am one of those Magic players that is happy to see this Universes Beyond merging in with the MTG world. And of course, that means I have to open some packs. Very irresponsibly of me, but I'm doing it anyways. I have 150 packs sitting here to be opened, and that's what we're going to do. I also have a little bit of a wish list going on the bottom of my screen. We're going to keep track of the rare and mythic wildcards that I open, because I'm always interested in seeing how many rares and mythic wildcards I do get from 150 packs. It's, 150 may not sound like a lot, but that's a lot of money. Honestly, to be spending on a digital card game. Also have the mythics and the rares that I'm interested in opening. 4 of the specific mythics that I want to open right away and have for decks that I want to try out. A nice little pile of rares, and then of course the towns. I think the towns are all going to be at least useful, so they would be good things to open. I'm not going to be overly excited when I open the towns, but I think the towns are just, yeah, they're going to be good to have, especially when I dabble with standard here and there. So I'm also going to start off a little bit slowly with the packs. I'm going to open them individually just so I can see some of the commons and the uncommons, and then eventually ramp it up when the time feels appropriate and do 10-pack openings. So yeah, before we get started, do me a favor, help me out with the subscribers and the likes and the comments. I've been seeing some pretty good growth. I think there's been like 8 to 10 new subscribers going on since I've been posting videos, and especially in the last week, there has been some pretty good traction. So thank you for that. It's nice to see all of you and say hi down in the comments. And of course, the question that I have to ask immediately: how do you feel about Magic the Gathering introducing a Universes Beyond set into Standard? Is it too much, or is it a nice change for the game? Are you excited for the future, or dreading what's going to happen in the near future? For me, I'm excited to see Turn 2 Cloud being played in Standard, and I don't know why, but I think it's a pretty neat little idea. It's going to make the game something new, and after all these years, I think it's probably going to be fine. But let me know what you think about that. Do you think it's a mess, or are you on Team Final Fantasy? So, enough rambling on. Let's start opening these packs. We'll start with this first one and try to get through this. So right away, we got a couple of things. What sticks out to me first very quickly? Haste Magic, 2 CMC. Target creature gets +3/+1, gains haste till the end of turn. These cards are always kind of nice to have. Maybe in Standard it could be a useful thing, but otherwise I don't think that's going to really be applicable. We got our uncommon over here as an Ignis Scientia? Ignis. I tried to play Final Fantasy 15, but it was not for me. When Ignis enters, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tap, put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order, sure, and then I've come up with a new recipe. 3, tap, exile target card from a graveyard. If a creature was exiled this way, create a foe token. I don't see this having any kind of application. Poor Final Fantasy 15 bros. And our first rare is a Realm Reborn. Other permanents you control have add 1 mana to of any color. Maybe a Brawl card, I suppose, EDH card. Nothing exciting there. Next pack. Definitely not going to talk about all the uncommons and commons, but I do want to kind of talk about the ones that stick out to me. Nice, cool art. Hey, I didn't realize we were going to get some neat art in this set. Dovin's Veto, a card that I particularly like playing, so it is cool to see it with a Final Fantasy skin. I guess that is Final Fantasy 16, one I have not played. And then Overkill, a very, very cool thematic card with Titus. Should I bring that up right away? Why not bring that up right away? What's your favorite Final Fantasy game? Very quickly, off the top of my head, best 3. Number 3, Final Fantasy X. Number 2, Final Fantasy 7. And number 1, Final Fantasy 9 is, without a doubt, I think my favorite game. Although Final Fantasy 7 is fantastic, and it was the first one for me personally, Final Fantasy 9 is where it's at. Our rare in this pack is, a Knights of Round. Now, I don't think I put that on my list, but this was one of my most anticipated cards, and it is a card that I'm pretty excited to try out. I did see somebody theory crafting an Indomitable Creativity deck with Summon Knights of Round, and that would be pretty sweet. And another person did comment a pretty fun comment on one of my shorts that I made. You should have to wait 15 seconds after you play Knights of Round. Yeah, let's get an animation going for this card. So that's a good hit. It's not on my list, but it's a good one. Next one. Okay, another interesting one, Captain Lannery Storm. A card that I personally like, but it's not a card that sees any play. Looks kind of nice. And we get our Ancient Adamantoise, a throwaway card. Okay, so far, not a whole lot, but we get our first Mythic wild card, and then the Imperial City of Arcades is a Wall of Omen. Sure, fine. Self-Destruct, one of the cards that I was really looking forward to. I think it's going to be a very powerful card that will probably see some amount of play, whether super meta tier 1 play, I don't know, but I do think people are going to be jamming this card into decks because it just seems strong. And we get From Father to Son. Yeah, I don't know, whatever here. Search your library for a vehicle card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. If this spell was cast from a graveyard, put that onto the battlefield instead. Yes, maybe vehicles, I don't know. Is Greasefang going to use this? Yeah, maybe. In our 5th pack, we hit, well, the boy, Barrett Wallace. 4 CMC 4/4. Whenever Barrett Wallace attacks, it deals damage equal to the number of equipped creatures you control to defending player. I love the flavor on this card. Actually, this is the first time I've read this card. The idea that he's doing his Gatling shot. Is that what it's called? I hope. I'm not a phony. But yeah, he's doing like his limit break based on the number of teammates that are attacking in. I kind of like that. It works for me. And we get Moggles Valor. I think it's going to be a Moggle. I think I've always called it a Moggle. Yeah, get chastised for that, I'm sure. Keep moving. Okay. Strixhaven Stadium in the form of Luca Stadium. Whatever. And yeah, okay, Sephiroth's Intervention. Probably just a limited card, whatever. Tonberry. Final Fantasy fans probably dread seeing this thing. How many of us have died instantly to that chef's knife? And we get Summon Titan. Summon Titan, it is a Saga Giant. Mill 5 cards, return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped, and then until end of turn, another target creature gets you control gains trample and gets +X, where X is the number of lands you control. For 5 CMC, it is a 7/7 reach trample, but I don't know. What do you think about the sagas? Did the sagas hit for you, or were they kind of lacking? For me, none of them really stuck out to me, excited me whatsoever. Again, more summons. Ifrit, whatever you want to say. You may discard a card if you do draw a card and add red on the 3rd and the 4th phase. It is a 3/2 for 3. No, not doing anything for me. And we get Stiltskin, the Moogle Merchant. I know some people are excited about this, the idea of donating a permanent that you control to another player. Some people like doing that. It's not something that I've really dabbled with. Keep going. Boop, boop, boop. Nothing really sticking out in this pack, so go right for the rare mythic, rare wild card. Okay. Am I updating this? I did click it. There we go. Okay. It's always nice to open rares. Rare wild cards. Okay, we get a double rare pack. That's always nice. Black Waltz number 3 from Final Fantasy IX, a very memorable character. It is a 2/2 wizard for 4/2 black and a red. Flying Death Touch. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Black Waltz number 3 deals 2 damage to each opponent. I mean, this is just a kind of a cool card, especially for EDH. It's going to fit into a lot of Spellflinger decks that just want to do the pinging, but I don't see any arena format applications outside of Brawl. Next we have, oh, Yuffie. I actually overlooked Yuffie. She is Yuriko, the Tiger's Shadow. I was really wondering why Yuffie wasn't in the spoilers. I thought she is such a memorable character, especially, I believe a lot of speedruns for Final Fantasy VII use Yuffie to great effect. And I was really surprised that I didn't see her card, so it's nice to see her popping up in the form of Yuriko, which that seems like a pretty crazy hit. I'm not sure if I actually had that card or not. And the Genji Glove, whatever, equipped creature has double strike whenever equipped creature attacks. If it's the first combat phase of this turn, untap it, and there is an additional combat phase. It is strong, it is powerful, but I don't see it seeing play. Like most of these cards, I'm maybe a bit pessimistic overall, but yeah. Okay, go right for the rare. We got our first, not our first Kefka technically, it's our second because I think I got one for the pre-order bonus that I did. It is 5 mana Grixis 2 blue, black, red. Whenever Kefka enters or attacks, each player discards a card, then you draw a card for each card type among cards discarded this way. I mean, maybe it could be like a huge payoff card for a Grixis control deck in some constructed format, but this, again, just screams EDH like the entirety of this set. Okay, so far 10 packs deep, but not hitting any cards. We get another of the Bros, Gladios Amicitia. Wow. It is an expensive one. It's 6/6, but it costs 6. When he enters, search your library for a land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle an ended landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, another target creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains trample until the end of turn. Cool. Yeah, there's a god that does very similar effect that I'm forgetting. I'm not sure. And then we get Saz, the Final Fantasy 13 dad. Man, I tried playing Final Fantasy 13 quite recently. I was listening to a podcast, New Game Plus podcast, and they talked up Final Fantasy 13 so much, and it actually got me to try out the game. And I was like 20-something hours in, and I finally gave up on it because the game just was not clicking. Okay, Summon Primal Odin. This is probably another card that people are kind of interested in. I'm a little bit iffy on it. It's a 5/3, no evasion. Destroy target creature and opponent controls, so a 6 cost removal at the very least. And then the second phase, this creature gains whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player. That player ends the game or loses the game. This is going to work from time to time, and it's going to lead to some highlights, but I feel like this is something that players are just hoping works and will not work 9 times out of 10. And the last one, draw 2 cards, each player loses 2 life. That last one's a pretty nice phase if Odin survives to the 3rd phase. But I feel like this is just going to eat a lightning strike or an abrade or whatever have you at 3 toughness. 3 toughness is pretty rough. It should be 5/4. Maybe then it's too strong. Who knows? Okay, Magitech Armor is an uncommon. Whenever this vehicle enters, create a 1/1 colorless hero creature token, and it equips or accrues for 1. So these kind of cards are always cool, the ones that kind of do it on their own. And we get some cool art with the hero, actually. I really like that. Xenos, Yay Galvas. This is actually, I don't think I've noticed this card before. My first friend, when Xenos Yay Galvas enters, choose a creature an opponent controls until end of turn. Creatures other than Xenos and the chosen creature get -2/-2. When the chosen creature leaves the battlefield, transform Xenos, and it transforms into Shinryu, Transcendent Rival. What game is this card from? Am I going to embarrass myself and this is from Final Fantasy IX? There's no way. I don't know. Okay. As this creature transforms into Shinryu, choose an opponent. Burning Chains. When the chosen player loses the game, you win the game. Well, kind of an irrelevant little line of text there in a 1v1 format, but okay, kind of cool. Let me know, who is Xenos? I have no memory of that guy. Okay. So far, we have not checked off a single card. I figured I would have at least hit one card by now. Blitzball, cool, whatever. And Venat, Heart of Hadolin. Okay, fine, this card does seem kind of neat. It's a 3 CMC 3/3. Whenever you cast a legendary spell, draw a card. And it only triggers once a turn, but yeah, this definitely could have some applications. I see that card actually being playable somewhere, possibly in Standard. Okay, not seeing anything worth mentioning. And Yasholta Rule, whatever, at the beginning of your end step, exile target creature you control, then return to the battlefield under your control, under its owner's control, probably your control. Then, if it's the first end step of the turn, there is an additional end step after this step. Okay, I'm not smart enough to know where that card would have any application, but I do think some people were excited about it. Fire Magic is a pretty cool card. I actually just think it's a nice design. I do have some gripes with it. It is a 1 CMC to start, and then it has the tiered list. Fire, pay 0, it deals 1 damage to each creature. I don't like that it's dealing 1 damage to each creature. I really think it should be like deal 2 damage to target creature. Fire should be like deal 3 or 4 damage to 1 creature, and then Viagra should be the bigger one where it deals more damage to all creatures. Or even all opponent's creatures. I don't think it needs to deal wide to everything. Yeah, this one, I feel like the design of it is a little bit off for me. But I still do like it. Finn, the Fangbearer, always cool to get a skin or an alt art for Finn. Finn is a very cool playable card. And another Stiltskin. Some people are going to call him a different name. I'm certain of that. Okay, Lock Cool, sure. Death Touch, Lifelink. Whenever Lock deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, then discard a card. He's a rogue. Yeah, okay. Squall, CD Mercenary. Final Fantasy VIII, not... I'm not even going to read Squall. I don't like Final Fantasy VIII. I'll just go out there and make some enemies. I'm sure there are some people who love Final Fantasy VIII, but not this guy. Nature's Claim. Always a cool card, and yeah, that's cool. Search for the Frozen Esper, a throwback looking card. Rufus Shinra, 3 CMC Human Noble, 2/4. Whenever Rufus attacks, if you don't control a creature named Darkstar, create Darkstar, a legendary 2/2 white and black dog creature. Very thematic, kind of, maybe a little playable. It's not bad. And then the Lunar Whale. 3/5 for 4 flying. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. As long as Lunar Whale attacked this turn, you may play the top card of your library. It crews for 1. Very low crew cost. That's wild. Okay, come on, Dex. Give us something good. Thrum of the Vestige in the form of a Lightning Bolt. Make Lightning Bolt legal in Pioneer. Don't do that. That's an absurd statement. Gilgamesh, Master at Arms, a 6/6 for 6. Whenever Gilgamesh enters or attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put any number of equipment cards from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of the library in a random order. When you put 1 or more equipment cards onto the battlefield this way, you may attach one of them to a samurai you control. Honestly, this card's pretty sweet, and some people are going to mess around with it, and it is going to do some super cool, fun stuff. But it's going to be a Hail Mary. Okay, 20. How deep do I have to go? Take a bet. How deep do I have to go? So far, 20 cards before I find something on my wish list. Still missing the Regalia. 4/4 for 4. Crew 1 again. Haste. Whenever it attacks, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a land card. Put it onto the battlefield, tapped, and the rest on the bottom of in a random order. So continuing with Final Fantasy 15 bros, road trip bros having a landfall theme to them. Sure. Okay, I think I'm going to do maybe 10 more because I'm not really seeing much in the uncommons and the commons. I'm sure there's going to be a few more, but after another 10, I'm going to start cracking 10 at a time. Cool art. Squall again. Quickly pass over him. We do get another rare. That's the most exciting thing. So far, I'm up to 4 rare wild cards. Yippee. Renoa. Final Fantasy VIII girl, whatever. Whenever she enters, create Angelo, a legendary 1/1 green and white dog creature token. Looks cute, okay? And whenever Renoa attacks, another target creature you control gets +1/+1 to the end of turn for each creature you control. She has a 5 CMC 4/4. I don't know. Fire Crystal. I didn't put the Fire Crystals on my list because they are neat and I'm not really looking to build them, but they are good cards to open. I think it's nice to have them, and I did consider making a Fire Crystal list, but it would have been just too cumbersome. Come on, deck. Okay, nothing new. Jill. Who's Jill? When Jill enters, return up to 1 target non-land permanent to its owner's control or owner's hand, and then exile Jill, then return it as the backside. It is a 4/5 Shiva. Mesmerize. Target creature can't block this turn for the first 2 stages. And the third stage, Cold Snap. Everybody knows Cold Snap from Shiva. Summon staple. Tap all lands your opponent control. The opponent's control. So it's going to hit everybody at the EDH table and then exile Shiva, then return it to the battlefield on its front side. So Jill just keeps bouncing back and forth and tapping down people's mana. Kind of annoying. Okay. Yeah, some Final Fantasy IX love. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus a 1/1 green frog creature is created instead. Hey, you know what? There might be some like crazy applications with this card in like a cat cauldron sacrifice deck where you are creating a whole bunch of food tokens. You can just also create 1/1 frogs. Yeah. How do you say Quina? Quina. It's Quina, I think, right? Zell Ditch, another of the Dude Bros. You may play an additional land on each of your turns, and he gets +1/+0 for each land you control. So, in theory, he's always going to be at least a 3/3. Could be 4/4 or 4/3. You know, it gets probably a little bit bigger, but whatever, of course. But at the beginning of your end step, return a land you control. Playing extra lands, but returning them back to your hand. Yeah. What do you think about this guy? I don't know what to think. Ooh, I'm getting a little worried. Garnet, okay, my girl, lifelink. Garnet's pretty sweet for an uncommon. I think one of the better uncommons in the set. Whenever Garnet attacks, you may remove a lore counter from each of any number of sagas you control. Put a +1/+1 counter on Garnet for each lore counter you remove this way. I feel like that somebody's going to figure this card out. There's going to be some saga that actually really works with Garnet and just kind of keeps a nice perpetual cycle of something going on. Matoya, Elder or Archon Elder. Whenever you scry or surveil, draw a card. People are going to use this. Surveil and scry, not my jam, but I know some people love that mechanic and they're going to love drawing cards along with it. A lot of wild cards, and we get double up here, another Yuffie and a Mythic wild card. Oh my god. So I did make that other video not too long ago about how it feels to spend 100 USD on this game. And I don't want to say we're having a similar experience, but I think we're having a similar experience. We're up to 5 rare wild cards. Clive's Hideaway. Sure. Whatever. Bulk rare as far as I know. The Wandering Minstrel. Okay, in Simic, lands you control enter untapped, and a big thing that costs 8 mana that I don't care about. Reading the card? Magic players don't read cards. Dark Knight's Great Sword, what does this do? Job Select, okay, so Job Select, if you're not familiar, when this equipment enters, create a 1/1 colorless hero creature token, then attach it. So, kind of cool that these kind of cards, you know, they are self-fueling, I guess is the best way to say that. It's going to create a creature, you don't have to worry about that. And then it gets a +3/+0 and is a knight. Chaos Bringer, equip, pay 3 life, activate only once each turn. So if you do need to move it somewhere, it has a pretty cheap equip cost, but it does cost 3 for 3 and 0, but it does make a body. It's not bad for an uncommon. It's pretty cool. In Minwu, White Mage, Vigilance Lifelink, cost 5, 3/3. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on each cleric you control. Yeah, again, another card that's going to be fun in some highlight video, but that's about it. Alright, so 30 packs down, and I have hit 0 cards that I wanted. I'm kind of tired of opening them in piecemeal, so let's start opening packs of 10. And I guess I got to keep track of rares and mythic wildcards. So we get one of each. This one. Sure. Okay. So we'll start up at the top. We get another Zell. Next, we get another Gilgamesh. From Father to Son. Warrior of Light. It is a Joda. I do not care about Joda. Finally, Ishgard, the Holy Sea. We get our first land. So the adventure lands are pretty sweet. They all enter tapped. They all make just 1 mana, at least the base ones, the 5 colored ones. But they all have some adventure. Faith and Grief. Return up to 2 target artifact and or enchantment cards from your graveyard to your hand. Everybody knows in Magic, just having the ability to have some flexibility in your cards is always going to be a positive thing. So yeah, these cards are going to be good because most of the time people are just going to play them out as a tapped land, but if you draw this later, hey, something good there. Summon Cerebus. Whatever. A rare Keen. Traitorous Dragoon. 3 CMC 2/4 jump during your turn. Kane has flying. Whenever Kane deals combat damage to a player, that player gains control of Kane. If they do, you draw that many cards, create that many tapped treasure tokens, then lose that much life. That is a complicated card. I kind of like it, but that's a weird card. The Lunar Whale again, another. Am I going to get excited for these? And then the Masamune. I did not put this on my list because it's a cool equipment card, but it's not really my jam. As long as equipped creature is attacking, it has first strike and must be blocked if able. Equipped creature has, if a creature dying causes a triggered ability of this creature or an emblem you own to trigger, it triggers twice. So it's really just working with Sephiroth. I'm sure there's going to be other applications with it, but definitely Sephiroth's best friend. We are now up to 8 mythic or rare wild cards, so that's some good news. We'll put another 10. I think I'm going to start moving a little bit faster because looking at the time, don't want to drag on too long. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. What did I open there? Oh no. Oh no, I usually keep an eye on it. I'm going to assume I opened 2 rare wild cards in those 10 packs. And we get Lightning, the card that I want the most, because this is the card that I want to. I already got a deck kind of theory crafted out for Lightning. We're going to see some Mantis Rider and pray that Lightning and Mantis Rider actually work together. So Lightning, first strike, trample, lifelink, 3/2 for 3. Stagger, whenever Lightning deals combat damage to a player until your next turn, if a source would deal damage to that player or a permanent that player controls, it deals double damage instead. Lightning is a pretty sweet, I think she's a pretty sweet card, and I think I might kind of be coping in Lightning being a good card, but I'm gonna force it. Whether it's good or not, I'm gonna try to make it happen. Cloud Strife, Nijala. This card is crazy in EDH, right? Teferi, Mage of Zalfir in the form of Edia Kramer. I think she's a Final Fantasy VIII villain, so whatever. Another Masamune. Bartz and Boko. Bird stuff. Do you like the bird stuff? There's a lot of it in this set. Hey, Dion. Okay, I do like all the knights that are in the set, and that's why Dion, Bahamut's Dominant, is here. Dragonfire Dive. During your turn, Dion and other knights you control have flying. When Dion enters, create a 2/2 white knight creature token, and then he flips over to a backside for 6. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Those creatures gain flying until the end of turn, so they all become dragon flying knights. So I think Dion, pretty sweet card, maybe as a 1 of or a 2 of in a knight themed deck at the top end. Yeah, I want to try it out. I think he does look neat. Triple Triad, a card game, not the best card game. The best card game is Final Fantasy IX's card game. Sin. Dad, kind of. Xanarkand, okay, we get another land. It enters tapped, of course, and create a 1/1 colorless hero token. Put a +1/+1 counter on it for each land you control. So at least it's going to be a 7/7 that you create for 6 at sorcery speed. Sure. And we get Hope and a summon Primal Odin. So that was a Xanarkand. Everybody loves Xanarkand, right? One of the best towns. Those time were a little bit better. We got some hits, finally. Okay, keep an eye on that ticker up there. This time 2 rares. I probably messed it up the last time, but it is what it is. It's not such a big deal. But we're now up to 12 in that category. One more there. Summon Knights of Round. We got 2 of them now. Probably never have to craft Knights of Round now. I think 2 is all you need. Jumbo Cactar, going to be a fun card for people. Vincent Valentine, a Final Fantasy VII All-Star. Yeah, well, why does he have to be a 2/2 for 4? Wish the stats were a little bit balanced on that. A little bit different. Sarah from Final Fantasy XIII. She might be cool. I think giving your legendary cards a discount, on turn 4, in theory, you can get out a 6 CMC legendary. Maybe some people will try to gun for that. Yes, we got our first Raban, Bull of Alamigo. Outside of Lightning, this is the guy that I'm looking for. 2 for 2, and he's going to be attaching equipment for free on attacking creatures. So this is a huge card for opening. I don't, the hope is that I don't have to spend so many of these wild cards on these first batch of cards when I'm trying to craft some decks later on this week. And I think definitely Raban is going to be showing up somewhere. Lindblum, okay, create a 0/1 black wizard with whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. It only costs 3. It's instant speed, which is huge, but having this little wizard on the field is probably going to be big in some Spellfinger decks, of course. Ultima, a good card to open, nothing I'm too excited about personally, but I think having Ultimas in my collection is going to be important. It's just going to be the board wipe that might be the main board wipe in Standard. We'll see. 90. What are we at? 33 minutes on the clock. That's not totally 33 minutes because I started recording before. I forgot to watch again. I think I saw 2, 1 of each. Still getting a little long in the tooth. So we get another useless turtle. We get our third Masamune. A Benedicta Harmon. Final Fantasy 14? Maybe? I don't know. Who's this? Don't care. Father of the Sun, once again. Memories returning. This is a new card at least, but reveal the top 5 cards of your library. Put 1 of them into your hand. Then choose an opponent. They put 1 on the bottom of your library. Then you put 1 into your hand. Then they put 1 on the bottom of your library. Put the other into your hand. That's a cute card. So you're getting 3 cards for 4. Your opponent's choosing which cards you're going to get. So you're probably going to get, like, a land. But, yeah, maybe it's cool. Cool. Sin again. Kuja. At the beginning of your end step, create a tapped 0/1 black wizard creature token that has the same ability to deal damage. Kuja's cool. I like this villain, of course. Yeah, maybe this card could actually work. It's a 3/4 for 4. Not bad. Edgar. Pass over him quickly. Odin, Bart's and Boko, and another rare. So, oof, oh boy. Things are looking kind of bad, guys, right? How do I scroll down here? One rare mythic wild card. I should have done this a better way instead of going over to OBS every time and just adding it personally. 8. Second Lightning. That's a hit. Terra. Terra's cool. Terra might find a place in some deck. First my mind goes to Bard, but I think her ability doesn't really work with the Bard. Like, maybe you could be bringing back Oath of Nissa right? When she enters, mill 5 cards, put 1 enchantment card milled this way into your hand. Yeah, maybe, but probably not. This is probably just seeing Gruul and thinking Gruul's going to work out there. Another Ultima, we get our first Excalibur, a Xanarkand, and 2 of the Sacrifice. How do you say the first part? This card's probably going to be good, right? As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a legendary creature or pay 2. Counter target activated ability, triggered ability, or non-creature spell. So pretty huge, 3 CMC counter spell with the ability to maybe sacrifice a legendary creature in some pinches. I don't know about that. But Excalibur 2, whenever you gain life, put a charge counter on Excalibur. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each charge counter on Excalibur. This card's sweet. It's going to come down on turn 1. It's going to keep growing throughout the game. It's going to be a threat. I do want to open Excalibur, so I am happy to see it here. So, hey, we got a couple of good hits in this one. I do just want 2 of the Excaliburs. We got another Lindelbaum, so up to 2 on that. Like I said, always good to get those. And then we found our second Lightning, which is probably the one. I want to play a set of Lightning. Although, you know what, I probably only need 3. I'm not going to play a whole playset of Lightning in any deck. 2 more of those. You know what, we're doing pretty well on the rare wild cards, I will say. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Ooh, this card. This card is a money card in paper, on Arena, of course, whatever. But I've heard that this card is... what, 180 USD, 100 USD, something like that. Ancient Copper Dragon, just super expensive card. Summoner's Grimoire, Cypher, Final Fantasy 8, don't care about you. We get the Giant of Bilbil, whatever, Babil, Lindbaum, whatever. Wow, pretty lacking opening here, but I guess you shouldn't really complain about opening Mythic Wildcards, because essentially that is opening 2 clouds, if I want to think of it that way, and then hitting a Lindbaum. The third Lindbaum? Did I make a mistake somewhere? I feel like I opened a different card. I messed that up. Whatever. The tracker's off for the land. I feel like I don't have 3 Lindbaum. I have 2, and then I have maybe 2 Ishgar. Is that what I should have done? Or 2, I don't know. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, 1 and 1 over here. If you care about the tracker, well, what are you doing with your life? Another Yasholta, Terra. What's this? Minwu, Rebellion Strategist. It is a Mangara, the Diplomat. Whatever. Don't care. Another Minwu. Okay, so we double up on Minwoos. We're Minwooing. Ooh. Furion! Okay, Furion was the first card that I made my anticipated videos about. I like this card a lot. Equipped creatures you control have haste. That's gravy. That's especially going to work really well for like those equipments that enter the battlefield and automatically equip themselves to a creature right away. They have haste. If you have a Furion on the field, that's cool. And then whenever a non-token equipment you control enters, you create a token copy of that equipment. So imagine you throw out a Buster Sword, you can get a second Buster Sword, and it has equip cost of 2 less to activate. So Furion is a hit. I'm glad to see one of them, because I know I'll be using at least 3, maybe 4 in a deck. I think this card is just... yeah, it's going to make some archetypes. Noctis, our last Dude Bro Prince from Father to Son. I feel like that's our playset of From Father to Son, and I'm getting pretty close to a playset of Gilgamesh as well. Orphan, Cocoon, Fal'Cie. Oh my god, the Fal'Cie. Don't get me started on I played 20 hours of Final Fantasy 13, and they're talking about Fal'Cie, whatever. I have no idea what's going on with the Fal'Cie, man. That game is so confusing. Okay. Up to 20 with the rare wild cards from 150 packs. We get our first VV Ornithur. Of course, everybody's going to love VV. I'm sure you know what he does, because that's the card that everybody's talking about. Clive from Final Fantasy 16, I believe. Game that I never touched. Yuna, Regalia, Masamune, man, talk about like repeating cards. Another Raban, that's good, and we get our first Wind Crystal, so nice again to just get some of the crystals. This one is the white one. I clicked the wrong button. I was going to go highlight over it, but whatever. Keep moving. Boom, 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 boom. 2 rares. This is... Man, I need an assistant to be beside me entering all this information instead of me doing it. Another mythic wild card. Okay. This is how it goes, right? You just start running through things. 10 and basically nothing. Okay. Argue that the mythic wild card is the best open that you can get, but 9 misses. Earth Crystal, sure. Green spells cost 1 less to cast, but it costs 4, and then if 1 or more +1/+1 counters would be put on a creature you control, double it. Then distribute 2 +1/+1 counters among 1 or 2 creatures that you control for 6. I really want Hardened Scales to be a deck, but we already have cards that cost 1 that do this, and I don't think the reduction of 1 is going to really make much of a difference. It is a cool card, but in the end, I don't see it. Okay, getting pretty close to finishing up with all of this. Our 3rd Knights of Round, our 3rd or 4th Triple Triad. We get a double up on the Excalibur, that's good. And still not many hits here. But I did say I wanted at least 2 Excaliburs, so something achieved. 10 more. Just 1 rare wildcard from the tracker. Dark Confidant. Okay, I didn't put Dark Confidant on my list, but is Dark Confidant good enough in 2025 Standard Magic? Maybe. I actually don't mind opening this card because I think we might see it somewhere. Drawing cards is always huge. And it's only 2 CMC. I know there are other cards that are similar to the Dark Confidant in their ability to draw you cards, but I think at 2 CMC, that's a bigger deal. Doubled up on the Edgar. I'm pretty sure we got a place out of Edgar, and we hit the 3rd Excalibur. Maybe that's okay. It is a legendary equipment, so I can't really see myself going more. I don't know. And our final batch of 10 Final Fantasy. I guess the takeaway is 27 rare wildcards will let me craft pretty much anything that I want from the set. Hey, our 2nd Dion, that's good. But things are looking like a lot of misses. Balthier and Fran are pretty cool. It's a 4/3 for 3. Pretty good stat line. Vehicles you control get +1/+1 and have vigilance and reach, and whenever a vehicle crewed by Balthier and Fran this turn attacks, if it's the first combat phase of the turn, you may pay 3. If you do, after this phase, there's an additional combat phase. This could just blow out some games, and I think it is a pretty neat card in the end. I did not put... Oh, I did put them on my list. Hey, I forgot that I did add it. Okay. So getting 1 there and another Dion to complete my Dion wish list is kind of nice. Yeah, I think this is kind of cool. I don't know how useful it's going to be, but it's neat anyways. It's just neat. I like it because it's neat. Ooh, seeing first uncommons after opening 150 packs is pretty wild. Oh, okay. And here, this is what I was looking for. I'm going to rant for a quick second before I get to the gold packs. I am going to crack the gold packs. Blitzball. I hate this card. I think this card's design is absolute trash. When I first saw this, I messaged a friend and I said, the flavor in this set is pretty cool, but the flavor on this card, just awful. What were they thinking? Blitzball 3, tap, add 1 mana of any color. When I think of the Blitzball, I do not imagine a mana rock. Now, I guess you could make the argument that, yeah, sure, if you're scoring goals, yeah, you're kind of getting points, and that's kind of like mana. I don't like it. This should have been way different. The way I imagine this card is like 2 CMC, and then it's tap Blitzball, sacrifice Blitzball, tap creature that you control, Blitzball deals damage to any target, like deals 2 damage to any target. Because when I think about Blitzball, I'm thinking you attack somebody with the Blitzball, you're kicking the ball at them and like knocking them over whenever you played Final Fantasy X. And then they could have gotten like super crazy and did like, if tapped creature you control has power 4 or more, it deals 3 damage instead. You know, if it's a more powerful creature that you're tapping, it could deal more damage. And then they could have gone even crazier and done something like, if tapped creature is named Titus, deal 5 damage or something like that. And it could have been like super sweet. Of course, the numbers, you balance it out. But I really think that the Blitzball should have been doing damage instead of generating mana. I'm not a fan. Not a fan. All right, and now we're down to 14 of the golden packs, which is a lot. I think in the end, I'm not going to count the golden packs to the end results of the wild cards in that. So 27 rare wild cards, 11 mythic wild cards from 150 packs, which I actually think that's a pretty good spit out. But we missed huge on... Oh, I did put Dark Confidant on my... Hang on. What a dope. I thought... I know I considered it, and then I thought I had written something else. I thought I had skipped it. Anyways, yeah, sure. We kind of whiffed on the mythics. No Cloud, no Buster Sword, 2 Lightning, pretty good. And the Dark Confidant, it is what it is. Over in the rares, though, surprisingly, 0 Aeriths, 0 Cecil. Did I really 0 Cecil? Did I just skip over Cecil? I think he would have stuck out to me. And we achieved our Dion and Excalibur, but Furion and Rabon falling short. And then as far as the lands go, I think I did mess up the lands, but in the end, there are 5 lands that I opened out of 150, which, yeah, that's a little bit rough. But that's enough of those things over there. I'm gonna ignore them. In fact, let's hide them for now while we... Oh, don't hide that. While we open a whole bunch of gold packs. So there's going to be a ton of cards in here. Cool. Boom. Let's run through them and stop. Yeah. We get the Buster Sword at the very least. Coming in at the very end. Ugh, Hazarak, Godseeker. I wanted this card to be good, and I tried it in a few decks, but man, oh man, I don't know. It just, it's like so hopeful, and it just doesn't really work. 3rd Lightning, that's good news. Especially since I think I only really need 3. Let's not open a 4th. Let's just leave her there. We're seeing a lot of Final Fantasy cards actually in here. A 4th Excalibur, sure. Card that I don't know, 4 of, I don't know about that. Squire Knight's kind of cool, right? Whenever another creature you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. As long as this creature has 3 or more +1/+1 counters on it, it gains flying and has Knight in addition to its other types. This is kind of a cool card. I feel like it should fit in some deck, just, you know, somebody's fun deck. It definitely has some application. Another Dion. We don't need any more of you. A Fire Crystal. Why not? This guy's good, right? Yeah, the Dream Dew Entrancer I think is a pretty neat card. The Frog Wizard. I think some people do play this in some very competitive meta decks. Starting Town was one of the ones that was on my list. It enters tapped unless it's your 1st, 2nd, or 3rd turn of the game. So quick, fast land, and then you can pay 1 life to add 1 mana of any color. This is just easy 4 of in most standard decks, right? 1 life for 1 mana of any color. That's great. It's fantastic. I'm getting tired of seeing Minwu. Another Balthier in France, so that puts me at my 2 of 2 that I was hoping for, at the very least. Wow. A lot of names. Hey, I don't have... I thought I had a playset of Caretaker's Talents. That's just a good card to open. Another Ultima, probably good. And, hey, I wasn't wrong about Cecil. It is my first time opening Cecil. That's cool. Get this really sweet 1 CMC creature. It's going to be a tricky one. I don't know how to play him, but I do like it. And our final card of this long opening is an Ovia. Wow. Okay, in the end, that is a whole. That's how you lose. I think it's about 200 USD in the end, because I bought the 50 pack bundle from the pre-order, and then I went and I bought another 90 packs on top of that. So pretty expensive opening, and in the end, am I satisfied? Like always, the answer is no. But I have nothing else to say. Yeah, but. Okay, let's go craft some decks with Lightning and the rest of the Final Fantasy crew, and hopefully have some fun games coming out over the next couple of weeks. Let me know what cards you're interested in opening, and let me know what you thought about my packs. Were they way better than I thought they would be, and is it fully justified to spend this much money on a digital card game? Good question. Take care for now. Thank you for sitting through. Oh, open 10. I forgot it was open 10. I thought it was open all. Wow. Wow. We were doing the outro, and suddenly we have more stuff to open. We got another Buster Sword. What a... Okay. Isengard, okay, that's good. What the heck is this thing? Curse Cloth Wrapping. Zombies you control get +1/+1. It's a zombie lord. That's not a zombie. Whatever. Hey, our first Aerith. Cool. Let's build a life gain deck. Okay, this card actually pretty neat. Exile the top card of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. I think this is an underrated card. I do see other people talking about it. I have not really tried it out, but I think it is definitely a good card. And our official last opening is... Hey, that's an okay way to go out. Alright, checked. What do you think? Did we do well? Are you proud of us? Are you proud of us, Father? That's it. Bye-bye.